You get all your courage together and you walk across the room and you introduce yourself. Hello, I'm Bonnie Gross. When we speak, we give an instant impression to the listener. And by the way we speak as adults, it's ingrained. It's habit. It's habits that we start in early childhood. Whether we like it or not, it happens. A powerful, persuasive voice does mark a leader. And for someone who wants to be a leader, they need to learn to do that if they don't already instinctively have it. So, I want to work with you now in sounding confident. I think that's the bottom line. I want you to try it again. And this time, I want you to stress the words that are in dark yellow with your voice. Stress them.
When one door closes, another one opens. But we so often look so long and so regretfully upon the closed door that we do not see the ones that are open for us.
Hear the difference? Big difference. That was great. Thank you. Try it again and stress the last words in each phrase. Just make your voice do what I've put in yellow.
Tonight's news report will focus on the problems in the Middle East and what our government is doing about them.
Great. Hear the difference? Thank you. That was great. The big thing here is that people tend to fade their voice out at the end of a sentence without even realizing it. And that becomes a habit, and then we don't know we're doing it, we just always do it, and when it comes to the end of a sentence, we just make our voice fade. And then we may be telling some, we may be training some. The most important part of this training that I want you to learn is how to use your voice effectively. Okay? Okay, need I say more? When I was doing live television, which I have to tell you is the scariest thing in the world, I mean, then you start to like it after a while, but it is frightening. If you are not in a good mood or you're not feeling good, you have to do it anyway. And what I did was I just would say, I'm here now for this hour and nothing else matters. The fact that something else is going on, nothing matters, and I'm just here. And if you can do that for yourself, maybe some of you already do it. If you can do that, it's very helpful and get into that habit. So if you're talking about something complicated, be yourself. Use a friendly, relaxed tone, even if it's complicated. So try that. And just say, this is modern art, that's complex. Talk about it as if you were at a dinner and you're talking to someone across the table.
Okay, well, I'll put my glasses on now.
Think friendly and then speak.
Modern art is the embodiment of the human spirit by the canvas, through the color and form and light, don't you think?
That was great. That was a huge difference from the first one to the second one. If you are tense and your voice is tense and your speaking style is tense because you're so afraid to forget something, everyone will know and everyone will care. So it's more important to be yourself, to put a friendly tone in your voice, even if you're feeling scared. It takes about 3 to 6 weeks to change one habit, whether it's mumbling or uptone or pronunciation. So give yourself that time. You won't solve it in 2 days, but you will solve it in 3 weeks. So let me address that, even though it's not up here in front of you, because I think it's a very important point. Being nervous about, just to repeat what you said, about making a fool of yourself, saying the wrong thing, just being nervous in front of a group. I believe the way to stop those feelings is twofold. One is to learn how to do yoga breathing and do it often, because it really does calm the nerves, or diaphragmatic breathing. If we have time today, I'm going to show you that, and we'll all try it. But the other is, ask yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen? What happens is all those things, but we hold our breath. It's an instinctive human reaction, right? You're in a room, somebody closes the door, shuts off the light. The first thing you do is breath holding. If you're nervous, you're about to speak, same thing. If you keep holding your breath while you're talking, it's going to raise the pitch up, change the quality, and you won't sound resonant. The most important thing to do is to take a breath and keep breathing. How many of you feel that you're different? Yeah, I think almost everybody. Probably you're different. But what would be interesting, and you've just given me a very good idea for a future seminar, is how to not be different. So actually, I can tell you right now how to combat that. Probably it's less personal. You don't see the audience, or you may just see one or two people if it's WebEx, or it may just be audio. And so part of what gives you energy as a speaker is looking into the faces of other people, or looking at them live and getting their reactions, and then you gauge the way you're going to speak and the message, the way you deliver the message based on that feedback. Like, so right now, I'm watching you and I'm seeing people go like this. And that gives me the realization that I've touched on something that's important to you. And you can do it, think about how you feel about your subject matter. I mean, hopefully you are excited about your subject matter. You're the expert. And if you're excited and you put that in your voice, they will be too. I think when you make a speech, when you do training, when you do a webinar, when you just have a microphone in front of you, I think it's important to finish very strongly. To state the obvious, very often people will end by, and P.S., you should start strongly too, of course. Very often people will end by saying, thank you for coming. Or, do you have any questions? Or, I appreciate, don't do this. I really appreciate you coming today. I mean, you can say that, but not at the end. Because it kind of is, I don't know what else to say. It's not a call to action. It's not delivering the message again more strongly. It's like, I don't know how I'm going to end, so I'm going to end that way. Of course, you can do that, and it'll be fine, and you won't be criticized, and it's not like uptone that people will not want to listen. But if you finish strongly, your remarks will be memorable. A word about your physical voice. I mentioned before that if you feel nervous, you should do some yoga breaths. How many of you take yoga? Oh, fantastic. So you already know about breathing. Take a moment and think about your own voice, your physical voice. Is it loud? Here are the areas that as a speech pathologist, this is what I'm looking for. If someone comes to me and says, I don't like my voice, is it too loud or too soft? Is it too high, or too gravelly? Some people sound gravelly, and some people just right. Is it resonant? Resonant is full. Some people have Martin Luther King, full voice, right? Or James Earl Jones, or Darth Vader. I had a very, it's 10 to 12, but I had just to divert for a second, an interesting experience in my office, which reminded me of that I'm not as young as I used to be. I had a young man, I don't think he was more than 32, in my office, and he's smart and capable, and he's got his MBA, and he's in the financial industry, and he really felt that the one thing that was holding him back, and he was right about this, was that he had a poor voice. And his voice was very breathy like that, and thin, and it didn't carry, and it didn't really sound the way he really is. So I said to him, I want you to sound like Darth Vader. And he said to me, who? And I thought, I better change my examples. So anybody here know who Darth Vader is? Okay, good. Resonant voice.